There we go. Welcome, everyone. Hello, all. Welcome. Good to see everyone tuning in. Fantastic, fantastic. If you can have your video on, that is amazing. We love being able to see you. If you're eating lunch or something, that's fine. Completely up to you. Lovely to have you all here. Honestly, so excited about this workshop. We've got a ton planned for today. Now, just as we get underway and we have more people joining us, pop in the chat where you are in the world and what you do creatively. Right, where you are in the world and what you do creatively. Just pop that in the chat just as we all gather and we have more people joining us. Where are you in the world and what do you do creatively? Now, my name is Logan Elliott. Those of you that I haven't connected with yet, I'm sure you're very confused about my accent. Those of you that don't know me, I am from New Zealand originally, but I'm based in Richmond, Virginia, in the US. That's obviously where we're based with Flammable Entrepreneur as well. So yeah, we do tend to mostly work with people in the US. I'm sure there's people here from all over, which is fantastic as well. So welcome wherever you are. This is awesome seeing in the chat. So if you've just joined us, pop in the chat where you are in the world and what you do creatively. This is so good to see. Yeah, we've got people from all over here, freelance designers, illustrators, animators. I love that, graphic design. Awesome. Gail from Greensboro. Nice. North Carolina. There we go. Charlie in Chicago. I love it. Digital illustrator with a little design background. Nice. I love it. Harlem, New York. Nice, Will. I love that. Audio documentaries for podcasts and radio. Oh, I love that. Freelance graphic designer, Kristen. Love it. This is awesome. I'm just loving seeing where everyone is. DC, Salt Lake City, North Carolina, illustrators, muralists, graphic designers. This is amazing. Welcome, everyone. So great to see everyone here. We have a lot to cover, so we are going to dig into it. We're going to run you through first just a bit about who's here, so you actually know who's going to be presenting and teaching today outside of myself as well. So Ari, I would love to start off, get you to do an introduction for yourself.
Hi, everybody. I am Ari. I am based in Tennessee, in Clarksville. I saw one Tennessee so far, in Chattanooga. I'm an illustrator and letterer. My focus is creative business, or creative marketing for businesses. So my niche, if you want to call it that, is trying to help businesses find creative solutions to their problems. So whether that be engaging their audience or their customers with murals or doing animations for them, that's my preference in my business. But I'm really excited to be here and talking about this today because pivots is something I'm currently experiencing. So I'm really excited to share my perspective on the kind of pivots that I'm experiencing right now.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ari. That's awesome and so great to have you here. Jillian, we'll get you to do an intro and do an intro for me as well.
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. I'm Jillian. I am an illustrator and muralist. I'm based in Connecticut. I have been running my own creative business full-time for about 5 years. I create work for a variety of different applications like greeting cards, book covers, merch, marketing, and I paint murals for all sorts of different clients like public art, small businesses, and even residential homes. So I started working with Logan and this lovely team in 2023. And in that time, I started to really be able to take my business seriously. And I have also pivoted into new industries, which we will be talking about today. And I've grown my own confidence as a business owner and landed some big commissions that I've been dreaming about for a long time. So I am super excited to introduce you to my business coach and Ari's business coach, Logan Elliott. Logan had his own creative business for 11 years and has since worked with hundreds of graphic designers, muralists, illustrators, and all sorts of visual creatives to help them grow their own businesses, as well as leave their day jobs and build those businesses of their dreams. So I am very excited to share Logan with you.
Amazing. So great to be here and honestly just really excited. As Jillian shared, I've been doing this for a very long time, helping people to grow. And yeah, we love working with people at different levels as well. We do have people that are like early stage, maybe they're leaving a day job, they're really trying to get things started. We also work with people that are further along, right? They've been doing this for maybe a few years and they're trying to really get their revenue up or pivot their offerings, do it in a more sustainable way. We even work with people who have been doing this sometimes for decades, right? And they need a change or maybe they need more sustainability money or more revenue or pivoting their offerings as well. So it's lovely to have everyone here. Primarily, we do work with people based in the US and Canada. Obviously, I'm based in the US myself. Those of you that didn't catch that earlier on, I'm from New Zealand originally, and I had my own creative business for many years myself as well. We've also got two other incredible people here on the call as well, two of my team. We've got Nadine and Paul from the team. They're coaches on my team, so we're going to get them to do a bit of an introduction as well. So Paul, do you want to kick us off with a quick introduction for you?
Sure. Thanks, Logan. Hey, everybody. Really nice to be here today. I'm the creative business specialist with the team at Flammable, so I get to chat with you about your businesses, what's going on, and help figure that out. I'm based up in Maine. If anybody else, I didn't see any Maine, I don't think, but maybe. I'm based up there, and I have some seasonal businesses I run too, like my events company and a Christmas tree business that I'm doing seasonally too. So I kind of come at it from the business point of view. Really excited to hop on some calls with you, hopefully, and Logan will talk more about that later at the end of the call.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Nadine, over to you.
Cool. Hello, everyone. As you'll hear, I'm also a New Zealander. It's a bit of a theme on the call today, but now based in Lisbon, Portugal in Europe, but still working with our US and Canadian clients. I straddle the world of the creative and business. I have a background in business management and performing arts. I worked in the entertainment industry and event space as a producer, manager. I co-funded a performing arts company, did that for a number of years. And these days I am one of the point coaches on our fabulous team, and as well as the operations manager. So yeah, also really looking forward to jumping on some calls with you and talking through what you might need.
Amazing. Thank you so much, team. Fantastic. This is so great to be here. Everyone that's joined us, I know a few people have joined us in the last few minutes as well. You are at the right place. We're here for the workshop, Reinvent Your Creative Business, which is perfect. Now, as part of today's call, we are going to be giving away a whole bunch of freebie calls with our team, with Nadine, with Paul, and Alyssa, one of our other coaches as well, as part of this call. They're free calls. We're going to do that right at the end. So we'll literally be dropping their links in to really try and, book in and help people as much as we can on those calls too. So I'll share what that looks like at the end. So what we're going to do now is dive in. So first thing I love to say is you're here, right? Like that is awesome. Showing up is an important part of growing a creative business, right? The difference between being successful and not being successful is often that the successful people focus on taking action. Right, so showing up here today and committing to your own growth, your learning is an important part of that. I'm sure everyone here is super busy. You've got a lot of stuff happening. Some of you might be trying to, be in a lunch hour in a day job, or you're trying to move your business forward. Like you're here, which is fantastic. So well done. Today is going to be really thinking and taking action. Yes, one of my biggest passions is to get beyond the theory and the ideas. Right, we need to learn. Yes, we need to learn new things, but ultimately it's the action. Action is a really important part of it. Implementation. A big part of how we work with people in our coaching programs is to actually focus on the implementation side. So as we go through things today, take lots of notes, look for what are things that you could actually action in the next couple of days or this week. Really, really important. Also, as we go through it, honestly, engage in the chat, sit up, take notes, get deep into what we're discussing, because this may be one of the most powerful workshops you do this entire year. Really, really important. So we always love a full-on chat. Yes, it can move pretty fast, but that's fantastic. So feel free to pop in learning outcomes or things that pop up. We will have a little bit of time for Q&A at the end, depending on how time goes. So we'll try and answer questions too, try and hold them towards the end, and we'll jump into them at that point. We did get a few that were sent in beforehand. Now, those of you that are on video, who would like $100? Raise your hand if you would like $100. Anyone not want $100? I think everyone's putting their hands up. There we go. I love it. So good. Look, a bit of fun here as well. Something fun that we're going to do as part of today's workshop is we're just going to give $100 cash to the person who is the most interactive. They need to have their video on. They need to be engaging in the chat, those good things there. Honestly, it just helps people to engage and lean in, and we have a bit of fun along the way as well. So Celeste from my team will keep an eye on that and try and pick the person who is the most engaged. So it's just a fun way to keep it all moving, but ultimately also help you to lean in and really engage with these amazing things that we have happening today. Cool. So the topic for today, how to reinvent your creative business one pivot at a time. Right, we're going to talk about this in lots of different ways. We're going to refer to offerings and marketing and really thinking about, okay, What does this need to look like? Maybe you are at that early stage and you just can't get it moving, right? So some things need to change. You need to do some things differently. Or maybe you're further along and you're like, hey, I've been doing this for a while, but it's really not working, but it's not working where I want it to be, right? And that might involve you pivoting, changing, looking at other offerings as well. So we're really going to dive into this. I get to have this really unique position of working with so many people that I just get to see what works and what doesn't work. Right, myself and my team, we get to see this on a daily basis, not just with people that we physically work with, but also the people that we talk to as well. And we get to see these things that are working and not working. So today I'm going to be sharing a bunch of these learnings with you in terms of what works and what doesn't work. If you are newer to the business or haven't started a business yet, or if you've been in business for a long time, a really important part of this is going to be looking at your offerings, right? Your services, your products, like where are you putting your energy? And is that the right place for long-term sustainable growth, right? Because the truth is that, yes, marketing is such a big part of growing a business, but ultimately, there's other pieces to it as well. The offering side is so important. Even if you get the marketing side right and you do marketing, you put yourself out there, if you're not doing the right things, you may just end up on the hamster wheel of trying to make it work and wondering what's going on. And it might just be because you're putting the wrong types of offerings out there in terms of how you use your creative skills as well. And you can kind of be designed to fail. So design in your business is really, really important. So we're going to go through some really important points around this. We're also going to get Ari and Jillian to share their thoughts along the way from their real life experiences in this stuff as well. Hearing their perspective will really just help you to understand the importance of these things, but also help you relate to some of the stuff as well. So first thing I want to talk about, patience in the process, right? I'm sure everyone here wants to grow, wants to learn, wants to take their business to the next steps, whether it's starting or growing or taking it forward. Like, absolutely, we've got to find that balance of, yes, the ambition and the impatience. That's important, but we've got to also find the patience in the process as well. So if you're starting out, or if you're trying to pivot into a new area of offerings, first you need to understand it's a process. It takes time. And the truth is, if it was just simple and easy, then everyone would do it, right? That's really important to acknowledge here, is that some of these things can be incredibly challenging. It will take focus, it will take time, and it will also take experimentation. There's not always the perfect rule book that you follow because everyone is different. There's so much diversity in terms of what people offer, who people are, people's personalities, the different markets you work in as well. So therefore, part of it is this experimentation idea. There's probably going to be some failures along the way, and that's okay, right? Failure is actually normal because you get the opportunity to grow and to learn as well. Something that I often say is, if you're not failing, if you're not breaking some stuff, if some stuff's not going wrong, well, you're probably not actually working at your true potential, right? You're probably holding yourself back. You're probably sitting within your comfort zone and not expanding that comfort zone. So it's a really important thing to acknowledge as well. Now, one of the things we do see is that, often what people try and do is they try something new out, right? Let's say they're like, oh, I want to get into a new area of offerings. Maybe they want to get into murals or more into this area of packaging illustration, right? They're like, I want to test it out. I want to do that. They start doing that. They start offering it. They see they're not necessarily getting results, and they give up and try something else, right? This is a really common thing that we see, is that often what happens, particularly for creative people, is you can end up basically jumping around constantly. Oh, well, I tried that. That didn't really work. I'm going to try this. Okay, that didn't really work. I'm going to try this. And you end up never really focusing anywhere enough, right? And yes, you don't want to just get stuck in one place long term, but there is patience in this process as well. We see it again and again. Oh, this thing's not working. Well, I need to give up and try something else. Well, actually, maybe we need to dig in more. Maybe we need to give it a little bit more time and really focus on, okay, well, how is this being promoted, or how are we getting it in front of people here, right? Having that focus is so, so important. So yeah, that shiny object syndrome, that classic thing that comes up for many people, right? This can really get in the way of this. It's like, oh, but I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. Right? You end up flittering around and never really leaning in enough within these things. Ari, would love to hear, some of your perspectives and experiences with this part there as well. Just the mute there. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I'm a noob here. I think so many things of what you say, I have to reflect back on the position where I was before, and both take notice of where I'm at now and where I was before. But I think something for me that I am really, right now I'm experiencing is that this journey is mine to make, and the decisions that I make along the way are I have to answer for them. So I have to offer offerings as as I want to, and then as I continue to offer something that I don't want to anymore or whatever, I have to really take stock as to why I don't want to offer it, rather than like I don't feel like I'm good enough, or I feel like I'm not in a position where I want to be offering it and being paid for it, which is, I think everybody has that feeling as a creative when they're starting, versus do I want to take a step back and work on something else because it's more fruitful for my business. So I think when you're in these positions, being able to really diagnose why you're making the decisions that you're making, and why you're offering certain things, and why you're making some of the choices that you're making. But someone said in here, like, taming back their offerings feels hard. It is. Like, you really have to, what do you enjoy doing? I think is always a way to start. And then say, as you're offering them, what do you still enjoy doing? Or like, what do you feel like is getting you in the direction that you want to go? Or are you having a hard time maybe convincing clients that this is an offering that they want? So I think really being able to, you have to take leaps, and you have to put things out there and make those decisions as you go. But I think something I also want to say is I appreciate being able to, I really want to have a business that's authentic. So when I'm on a job or I'm at a job, if I feel like it's not an authentic offering for me, that's like when I also have to take a step back from what I'm doing. So I think everything that Logan was saying is resonating for me, like in my past business and also in my current.
Yeah, this is so powerful. And this is part of why we have Ari and Jillian here is to really show these pieces in action of like, hey, like there's stuff here that we're talking about that they've been through and learned. And also they're still going through as well, right? These things can come up in different ways as we get along here. And I was just reading through the chat here, and there's so much good stuff in here. I love that. I don't necessarily have shiny object syndrome, but I have where are my people syndrome. Rebecca, that's such a good one, right? And it's so important to understand there is different pieces to this journey. Is yes, figuring out the offerings. The other side of that, well, who are those offerings for? Who are those products and services for as well? And that's part of that. We're going to dig more into some of the offerings stuff soon, but I do want to touch on marketing, right? I do want to make sure that we talk about this side here because ultimately we've got to market, right? This is one of the biggest challenges that people actually have in honestly all businesses, but definitely for creative businesses, is that not enough of the right people know you exist. Right? Not enough of the right people know you exist. So this is a really important piece to dive into. We're going to dig into that. One thing I want to do first, though, is get you all connected with myself and my team. Celeste from my team is going to pop in the Flammable Entrepreneur Instagram, pop that in the chat there. Jillian and Ari are going to pop theirs in the chat as well, because this is a good opportunity to connect. I know we connected with some of you. And then everyone else, I want you to pop in your Instagrams as well, right? We've already got people that are posting in there. Fantastic. Like pop in the chat, your Instagram, go grab the URL, right? Rather than the at tag, make sure it's clickable. So you just open up a web browser, go grab it and pop it in here, and then go through and see who else is here, right? Part of growing and building a business is connecting with a creative community too. So important. And this is an opportunity to do that. Right, there's a lot of people on the call here today, so let's make sure everyone pops in the chat. I know everyone's going to find the URLs, pop it in the chat, and then go through and click other people's and yeah, follow a bunch of people and support each other and all those good things there as well. So there we go. I love it. Okay, let's talk marketing. So, ultimately marketing is a huge subject in itself. Right, this is something we do a lot of work with our clients. Like it's so important. So we are going to share some tips, ideas, and strategies around how to market new offerings. Right, whether you're new to business or if you're pivoting into a new type of offering, is some really important pieces to acknowledge here, which is you got to market, you got to get it in front of people. It's all very well to say, yes, I do this thing now, and you put it on your website, right? Well, often that's not enough. You've got to actually be getting people to your website. You're going to be driving traffic. You're going to be connecting with people. So the way that I think about this is kind of a tiered approach of what is the smartest place to start. The truth is that the best place for you to market, if you're already in business, is to do the thing that's already working. I think people often forget this thing here, right? Like if you're like, oh yeah, I've got clients through Instagram, or like I found cold outreach works really well for me, or like I've got them through this networking event. It's like, keep doing that thing. Like, can you double down? Can you do a bit more? Can you lean it? Right? The thing that's working, keep doing it, double down. Right? The other next best thing beyond that is your own network. Right? We all have our own network. Whether or not you have past clients, well, if you do, that is people to reconnect with. They're going to be great next clients as well. But also it's people in your network, right? People that you are connected to, maybe they're old colleagues or people you've worked with in the past, whoever this is, building that network out and making them aware that you exist and you're doing this sort of work is so important. Right? Part of your own network is your friends, your family, right? Making sure that, they're aware. What are you up to at the moment? Like, what are you doing with the business? Because it might not be them that's going to work with you, but it might be their friend, their cousin, their coworker, right? So an important part of marketing is getting yourself out there. Then there's lots you can actually do to market your own business, right? Generally better to focus your efforts rather than spread yourself too thin. This is something we work with our clients a lot on, because we see many people that are like, trying to be everywhere, trying to do everything, or they end up being nowhere because they're so overwhelmed by trying to be everywhere, do everything. Instead, it's more about focusing those efforts, right? So typical things that we do see working, things like obviously Instagram can be a great area. Outreach is another one I've already mentioned, building partnerships, networking, and also making sure that you're focusing on that repeat clientele. Right? If you have existing clients, past clients, well, they're going to be the next best place for more clients, even if you're pivoting. Right? We've seen this again and again. Someone who's like, well, I'm doing more work within graphic design and I've had a bunch of these clients, but I want to do more illustration type work. Well, there might be existing clients right now that you can work with who are excited to work with you on this new area as well. They might be like, oh, wow, you can do that too. That's fantastic. That's going to be a really great area of growth and opportunity for you too. Jillian, we'd love to hear some of your thoughts, experiences around this.
Yeah. I would say marketing for me, like the most important thing is just to show up and like show up authentically. If nobody knows you exist and that you're creating work for, specific purposes, they're not going to be able to hire you. So I think like picking a direction, like maybe you're going to go all in on Instagram or all in on cold emails, and just like really leaning into it and giving yourself permission to do that is really like key here. I think like for me, my marketing tool that I built my business on is Instagram. And for a long time, I was kind of just like posting with no real strategy. And also sort of thinking it was like kind of just like a frivolous thing where like I wanted to get followers. But once I gave myself permission to use this tool for marketing purposes, it felt like, oh, now this is like an essential part of my job. I have to post here because this is how I get clients. So just showing up, and also it's really important to make sure that when you are showing up, you are showing people what you are making and what it can be used for. I think often we're just like posting artwork online and not really showing like, oh, it can be used as a mural, or like I could, make this into a greeting card for you. So like using mock-ups and showing your process is all part of marketing. And I always notice like a really direct correlation between the number of inquiries I get and like what I'm showing on Instagram. So like if I'm showing a bunch of murals that I've been painting, I'm getting mural inquiries. If I'm showing greeting cards or like other products out there that I've put my work on, then I'm getting more inquiries like that. So showing up, experimenting, and just, putting yourself out there. It's hard, but it's crucial.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jillian. That is fantastic. I'm going to just jump into the chat briefly because there's a really good question in here, and I can't answer all the questions as we go, but we'll dive into some. So Christopher shared here, is paying for Instagram worth the investment? When I do this, I get a lot of likes, but no clients or jobs. And someone else shared they're having the same issue. So I think this is a pretty common one. I'm going to really, really clear on this. It's like, yeah, it can be, right? For some people, it can work incredibly well. But the truth is that that's not generally what you want to focus on in terms of paid, if we're talking about paid advertising specifically. There's so much you can do with Instagram without having to actually spend money, right? That's the truth of it. So if we say, do you have to put money into Instagram to be successful? No, right? Do you even have to be on Instagram to be successful? No, there's other ways to market your business as well. Can it work? Yes. The thing is, like, we don't even focus with our clients on paying for ads, right? Because there's so many things that you can do before you need to pay for ads. Generally, the best time to pay for ads for most people is when they have grown to a certain extent and they're wanting to expand that growth and scale that up even further. For most people, they're not going to need to do that even up until earning $10,000 or even $15,000 per month, right? There's lots of other ways. And, I think often people see it as like, oh, well, if I just like boost this post or pay for these ads, it means I'm not going to have to do that annoying like posting stuff, like creating stuff and doing the engagement thing. It's like the truth is that you're much better to focus on the free stuff first, because then all it's really going to do is expand what you're already doing. So if you're struggling to make Instagram work and then you pour money into ads, you're kind of just wasting that money. If Instagram's working really well for you and you're getting a lot of engagement, yes, you could use ads to scale that engagement further. But for most people, it's just not going to make sense, right? So a really important thing. We've seen this again and again, people pouring money into Instagram and going, it's not working. And we're like, don't do that, right? Like there's so many other things you can do that don't need to actually cost like Instagram can, right? So really, really important point there. I'm going to dive into talking more about offerings, right? So this is for if you're getting started, trying to figure out what offerings you could have, what product services you could have, or if you've been doing this for ages and you're like, I need to pivot or I need to diversify, I need to add something else to what I'm doing, fantastic. This is a great piece for you as well. Now, as I said earlier, we get to see what works and we get to see what does not work. Now, one of the big things we really notice is that you really need to have a core focus on offerings that are at least $300. Right, I'm using $300 US as a reference point here. These are actually the best areas to really focus on. They tend to be more service-based type offerings, right? Lots of different options for visual creatives, obviously depending on your skill set. So keep in mind this is just not an exhaustive list, but some of the stuff that we see, things like editorial, packaging design, branding, murals, spot illustrations, book covers, right? There's a lot in the space and even more on that list as well. But ultimately, really good to understand that it tends to be the stuff that you can charge at least $300 for. I'm not saying charge $300 for, I'm saying at the very, very least. Really important. So what could you charge? $500, $1,000, $5,000, right? Ultimately, that's going to grow a more sustainable business long term. Now, am I saying that you can't do anything under $300? No, right? We have clients that do sell things, products, services that are under those price points, but it doesn't tend to be their core areas of focus, and it doesn't tend to be the thing that's actually growing their business sustainably long term. Right? It's hard. It's hard because of multiple reasons. And one of them is that these areas are so competitive. Anything under $300 is just a very competitive space. So things like stickers, prints, print on demand, even to some extent licensing and even education as well, they just tend to be areas that are really competitive because they're much easier to get into as well. Right? We're seeing that again and again. And then it becomes a numbers game. Right? If you're going to sell your prints and stickers, I love prints and stickers, but the truth is that you need to sell so many every single month, right? Even if you want to make $1,000, well, $1,000 is a lot of stickers, right? And then there might even be complications around if you're doing the printing or you're outsourcing that and the costs of that and the costs that you now need to spend. Passive income, we've got to be very careful about because it's not always passive. Right? We talk to people all the time that, have these forms of passive income. They spend a lot of time and energy doing that. And they're like, I spend all this time and energy, print on demand's a classic, and I'm earning $7 a month, right? Maybe I'm no good at what I do. And I'm saying, no, that's not the problem here. The problem is the stuff's just getting more and more competitive every single day. Really important to understand. But once again, this is more about proportion of where you put your energy. So we often work with our clients on this as well and go, okay, what can work within the space that's $300 plus? And what do we do with those other things you want to do? Like if you're passionate about stickers and prints, yeah, you could spend 20% of your energy on that. Fantastic. That's great. But it's just not going to be the thing that's going to get you to start earning $5,000 a month, $8,000 a month, $12,000 a month. Right, they're not those things there. They're not going to be the things that are going to get you out of the day job or ultimately earn that sustainable long-term income. So part of this here is to make sure you have the right types of offerings in place that meet your goals, right? Because that's what it comes down to as well. Ari, would love to hear some of your thoughts, experiences, these good things around this too.
Yeah, I love stickers. Like as a consumer, I love stickers and I love t-shirts. So when I first started, I really wanted to do stickers and t-shirts a lot because of the illustrations that I'm an illustrator, so I feel like that was an obvious jump for me. But while I do stickers now, just not for myself because I don't have the time to dedicate to a storefront, but also it really isn't for me the core way in which I can create income for myself to be sustainable. But I do stickers for businesses, and therefore you can set a price point of like, let's say 300, and you're able to say like that they have this many runs of printing a sticker, or they have like a timeline in which they can use this design, and they can't use this design outside of just stickers, which allows you to also scale. So if they're like, I love this illustration that we did for a sticker, what would it look like if we did it on a t-shirt, or if we did scale it up to a mural? Like, I think being able to think of your work in applicable ways, like Jillian said, so that and even giving them that information as well, like saying, yeah, we're doing this for a sticker, but if you're ever interested in this being a mural, or this being anything in between a sticker and a mural, then being in that space for yourself. But also, like I mentioned earlier, picking things that are like, I see this in the chat, people saying like things that they enjoy doing. That's a great place to start. Like, what do you love doing? And then marketing it. And I know that sounds so icky, but I have a background in marketing, so it actually isn't icky to market yourself. That's the whole thing that we're all trying to do, is put ourselves out there. So I parrot what Logan said, and saying like, you can do the things that you enjoy doing, but be smart about how you're offering it and how you're presenting it to clients, or doing it for yourself so that it has a scalable way of being sustainable for your business.
Yeah, I love this. And I think, I've shared this already. It's like, it's not to say that you can't do these other things like stickers, right? Just like Ari's talking about here, like you can do that. Absolutely. And we have people that do all sorts of things that are under 300. It's more about where they're putting their energy and how they're also focusing on their goals. Right? Because, there's lots of benefits. There's even these benefits, like Ari said, of having those lower ticket offerings. But the problem is that we see people all the time that kind of believe they can just focus on those things because they've seen some success, and maybe they are making a few $100s a month or even $1,000 a month. What we've seen, though, is it's really hard to scale that and build long-term sustainability. And ultimately, we see this every single year, is that it's actually those areas are getting harder and dropping off. And we're seeing people's income for those lower ticket offerings is even reducing within that too. So I'm going to talk about pricing next, because I think this is a really important piece of this. And just a reminder, we are going to be doing that $100 giveaway at the end as well. I can see everyone's totally got the memo on there. We've had a really engaged chat, which is fantastic. So I love that we're having a bit of fun here along the way. And just a reminder, at the end, we are also going to be offering some of those free calls. So definitely stick around for that too. We've still got a bit of time that I want to cover a bunch of things with as well. First one, pricing. Okay, so how to price your work, especially if you're new or it's a new area of offering for you. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that we see people make is that they underprice themselves. Right? It's so common. They underprice themselves. It's like probably another one of those like biggest problems people have thing. Yes, marketing is a big one. Well, undercharging is another one. And if you're charging those really low rates, the problem is you end up just working all the time and burning yourself out. Right? You do not have to burn yourself out and be completely overwhelmed to be a long-term, successful, sustainable visual creative. So important. You can work every hour of every day. I know you're all passionate about what you do, but ultimately it will burn you out. Really important to acknowledge that. Now, one of the biggest mistakes we see then is, yes, they underprice. One of the reasons that we see this happening is often it's related to their confidence. Kind of makes sense, right? Like your confidence. And it's not just, are you an overly confident person or not? It's also related to your confidence in your abilities to offer this thing, right? So if you're like, hey, I'm currently an illustrator doing these things and I'm getting into murals, or I'm getting into this thing here, I'm doing something different. Well, often your brain is going like, hey, you've never done this before. You've got very little experience, and therefore you're not allowed to charge much. Well, we've got to sometimes get real and go, but what's the quality of what you can actually deliver? It's probably creatively a lot higher than you think it is. Even if you haven't done much of this before, you're able to adapt existing skills to that new area. And that's actually where a bunch of that skill set is coming from, right? You already, as a designer, an artist, a creative, and going, hey, I'm bringing this skill set, and yes, I'm pivoting into a new area, but that means you can probably charge more than you think right off the bat, right? We see this again and again. People think, oh, well, because it's new, I need to charge a really low amount. One of the biggest lessons in pricing that you need to really understand is that you need to price based on value to the client, right? Not based on what time went into this. Right? So you really need to look at, okay, well, what is the value to the client and what are they willing to pay? Because that's the truth. Like, hey, if you can charge $1,000 and something takes you 20 minutes to create, good on you. If someone's willing to pay that, that's amazing. You've created this amazing value. Right? So one of the tangles people often get stuck in is like, oh, well, my time is worth X. I'm not saying forget about what your time is worth. It's an important equation. How many hours, how much time am I putting into something? What can I actually sell it for? Yeah, we want to make sure you're not getting paid $5 an hour for your time, but we want to make sure it's based on the value of what you're offering, right? This is a lesson that we need to go over again and again and again, right? Ultimately, part of this also is making sure you're finding the right clients, right? So we heard that earlier on in the conversation as well. Well, the truth is you could have the right sorts of offerings. Great, I'm loving this. It's in my skill set. I'm good at what I do. I've figured out my pricing and those things there, but everyone keeps saying, you're too expensive. Wow, you're charging that? It's wild. Well, part of the problem is you're possibly talking to the wrong people, right? So that's sometimes something we need to look at as well. Who are the ideal clients? Who's willing to actually pay those higher rates as well? Right? Like we've had clients who have sold things for really high tickets that are pretty mind-blowing. We had a muralist client earlier this year who booked a $120,000 mural project. Right? Like there is massive opportunities out there, but you need to get to the right ideal client. The dream clients, the ideal clients is a big part of that as well. Now, it's not the only piece of it, right? You just may not be presenting professionally to the current clients, right? Or the pricing structure may be wrong, or you're not marketing yourself, or they don't trust you. Right? So there's other pieces to it, but sometimes we get to a point where, you know what, it's just that the market needs to change. Yes, you can be an illustrator doing this, but we need to find the people who are willing to actually value you and pay you properly as well. This can also take some time to really figure out as well. Jillian, I know you've been through so many of these journeys around pricing over the years as well. Like, yeah, we'd love to hear some of your thoughts around this too.
Yeah, pricing is always such a hard topic, and it's something that I think most of us struggle with and like will probably continue to struggle with. But it does get easier. And I think I'll just like pretty much echo what you've said, Logan. Like I really do think that pricing higher comes with confidence. And like once you're really confident in your business and what you're offering, then you can feel comfortable starting to charge more for your work. And I think that confidence really comes with like clarity and like clarity of what you are offering and clarity of the value that you bring to your client. Sorry, my dog is barking. Hopefully you can't hear that. So yeah, once you're able to like really get clear on your target market, what you're offering, your confidence will go up and you can charge more. And I think it's also really about presenting yourself professionally. Like for me, once I started putting together professional looking proposals that had like that really outlined every step of my process, every thing that I am bringing to this client and like showing them exactly the breakdown of the process and feeling like really confident about that, I was able to start charging more and seeing these proposals be accepted more often. So yeah, confidence, clarity in your offerings and presenting professionally are important for pricing more.
I love it. So, so good. That professional element, right? Really, really important. And that's often a journey in itself, right? Of, okay, how can I upgrade my proposals or my website and taking those things forward? Something that we work with people a lot on is actually just taking action, taking that imperfect action, right? Most people actually start getting themselves out there too late. Right, but going through, okay, what is the best version you can put out? And we can adapt and learn as we go. So I love this. So, so good. It's great to get Ari and Jillian's thoughts as well. We are going to dive into some Q&A soon as well. We did have a few questions pre-submitted, so we'll get through them first. Now, before we do that, I do want to really talk about the next steps from here, because Ultimately, what we've talked about today is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what it takes to grow a long-term sustainable business. Like, yes, having clarity, some learnings around these different areas, absolutely, it all helps. But often we see that people need to dig a lot deeper, and they also need to figure out some of those other business elements that are getting in their way, sales and marketing in particular. So the truth is, yeah, we've touched the tip of the iceberg here of what's required to grow long-term. So what we are going to do is we're giving away free clarity calls with the business coaches on my team as part of today's workshop. This will really help you to process what you've learned today, dig in, and also help you figure out what's holding you back and figure out the strategy from here as well. What are the dreams? What are the goals? What are the challenges there? So, and if there's something that you really want to get moving forward even more, you can mention to them, hey, you'd love to learn about what coaching could look like. They're happy to take you through the steps for that as well. But this call is really designed to just help keep you moving forward and make sure you digest everything from this workshop. So I'm going to literally drop the links in the chat very, very soon. We've got a lot of people here, so I want to make sure that there's some caveats attached to this as well. If you're going to jump on, have that free call in the next week or two, we want to make sure that there's some clear caveats so that you really value that time as well. First one here, we want you to be a person who's ready to take action, grow, move things forward, right? If you are in a day job, you're really wanting to get moving and get out of that day job in the next 12 months. Or if you're in business and things are a bit stagnant, you really want to get growing. If this is just you're gathering ideas and information, maybe you'll implement one day, this is not the call for you. If you're like, hey, I want some new stuff to implement, I really want to grow, I want to get things moving, I want to get unstuck, or I want to reach my potential, great, book this call. Second thing is that we want you to be open to sharing and connecting with the team, right? Open to sharing ideas, willing to get a bit vulnerable and share your dreams and your challenges and what's getting in your way, and open to hearing their ideas and observations from their amazing, vast experience as well. Basically, we're saying we want you to be coachable. A growth mindset on that call is absolutely essential. And then the third part, you commit to it. Turn up ready and on time. Don't book a call in now that you're not going to show up to. Really, holding yourself to that. Also, we love you to make sure that you're at a table. You're not on your phone making the team dizzy, holding around, or in a car. We love you to be at a stable table so that you can take notes and really hear what they're saying as well. Their time is incredibly valuable. They've got limited spots. Both Paul and Nadine have busy calendars already, so we just want to make sure that their time is being really valued. So, if you agree with that, can you just type in the chat yes or agree or happy or understand, just so everyone is like, yes, I get it. Everyone happy with those clauses as well. I love that. I love the exclamations and emojis. There we go. I love it. So good, everyone. Woohoo! Yes, thumbs up. Nice. Awesome. Cool. So I'm going to pop them in. We want you to book in a time as soon as possible. Right, as in there is times for next week and the week after. Try and get it as soon as possible so everything's fresh for you. If you have some struggles with getting it booked in, you just may need to have another go because the spots will fill up quite fast. There it goes, everyone. I've just popped that in the chat. You'll see the link there, the Calendly link. That'll take you through there. You then enter your name, email, pick a time. It'll show up in your time zone, right? Show up in your time zone for what works for you. Pop that in there, get that booked in. So yeah, we've got that all sorted, which is good. I will post that in the chat again soon. But basically from here, what I do want to do is dive into the Q&A, right? We've got some good questions we were sent in beforehand. Paul, I'm actually going to get you to jump in on this first one here. So the question is, how do you know if you're good enough to get paid for your work? I mean, this could be good because it's maybe someone who wants to get started or wants to pivot their offering into a new area. How do they know if they're good enough?
Totally. Yeah. And so many people have doubt and imposter syndrome. I think that's so constant throughout creative work. But the first thing is to ask for feedback from peers. Your friends and family are probably going to say it's good, or if they're mean, they might say it's bad. But you want to ask for peers' feedback so that you can, understand that. You can also get professional feedback from me and Nadine on these calls. It's a great chance to have that from an external, unbiased party. We're looking at your work and we're going to tell you where you're at. The thing that's interesting is most of the time, 99% of the time, people's work is good enough. It's just that they're not getting in front of the right people. So it's not the creative side they need to lean more into. It's the business stuff they need to lean into. And we see that all the time. And so the only way to really know at the end of the day if it's good enough is to get your work out there and be getting paid for it. So yeah, get started.
I love it. So good. Getting started, get moving. This is fantastic. Nadine, I'm going to get you on this next question here. How do I know who my target market / audience is? This is something that we work with, with our clients a lot. We'd love to hear, your perspectives on that question.
Yeah, cool. So I think, firstly, what are your peers doing? See what others are doing. What are they offering? Maybe what are they not doing? Are there people that admire and that inspire you? What are they offering? Who are they working with? That can be a helpful jumping off point. The other thing that I would say is, who have you worked with so far? Maybe that can give you some clues as to who you could be working with, or a niche to lean into a little bit more. Who resonates with what you do? Connect with them, talk with them, have some conversations. This is where you help to understand what are the needs of those people, and how can you fulfill those needs. And so I guess the biggest thing that is captured in this is experiment. Give things a go. Often what we see is people are afraid to give things a try. They're afraid to put themselves out there, have conversations. And I kind of like to joke that maybe Nike was right when they said, just do it. And you're going to find out more by taking action versus overthinking. Like Logan said before, imperfect action, have some conversations with people you're curious about working with.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nadine. This next question I'm going to jump into here. How long does it have to take to leave your day job from starting a business? Right. So I know we'll have people here in different positions. Some people who are in a day job right now, and you're like, I want to leave it. I want to get out of it. I'm sure there's people here that are like, well, I've recently left my day job. Everyone's in different positions, or you've been doing this for a long time. Great. It's a really interesting thing because, kind of like I said earlier, we just get to see what happens when we work with people. Like, how long do things take? And what we see is that to leave a day job from starting out, it's going to take 6 to 18 months, right? 6 to 18 months. This is people that we're working with. They're really diving in, they're really focusing, and they're getting support to do it as well. 6 to 18 months. So several things on this. One of them is that the best time to actually build a long-term sustainable business and start building it is whilst you have security of a day job. All right, there's this kind of idea out there, which is like, oh, you quit your day job and then you start your business. Well, it's an incredibly risky thing to do because it can take some time to learn what you need to learn and ramp things up, and you're dealing with fear and insecurities and mindset balance and all those things there, right? So if you can actually build this, or at least start building it whilst you have that security, that's going to be fantastic. Now, everyone's got different positions. Some people actually start building their business maybe when they're caring for family members, right? They're young parents. Of course, that's kind of similar too, is that, yes, to building to that income level that is actually sustainable, so maybe they don't need to go back to work, it's probably going to take you 6 to 18 months. I know that's quite a wide range in there as well. We just get to see a wide range because there's so much diversity in people we work with as well, right? And one of the things that we see that makes me laugh is that the people who hate their jobs the most are the ones that get the best results the quickest. Isn't that interesting? We do some really interesting things as humans. One of them is that we all have priorities. And if we're having a bad time, we do the work to have a good time, right? This is really, really interesting. And yeah, we work with people all the time that are like, yeah, I don't hate my job. And, I have a bigger sense of potential of what I can do. And I don't want to look back on my life later and be like, yeah, I had a secure job that I kind of found okay, and the people I work with are okay. It's like that mediocrity is not what they want. Maybe in the meantime, it's okay, but like, that's not what they want long term. So with those people, we've got to dig into that story. Maybe it's not digging into, well, yeah, they're having a crappy time with their day job. It's more going, yeah, but like, look at the unmet potential here, right? And help them realize that actually it's time to get to work and time to get focused as well, right? But the truth is, we always see that difference, right? The people that do it in that quicker time period are often just having a really rough time. Maybe the day job's toxic, they're not enjoying it, those things there. At the same time, everyone's journey is different, right? We need to be very careful not to put people in boxes and say, well, this is exactly what is needed for you, right? The journey is very, very different for every person. That's why part of what we do is so personalized as well. We're working with the individual on their journey here as well. I love it. We're going to keep moving through these questions. We're going to try and address some in the chat as well. So I know there's some good ones popping up there, but I do have some questions for Ari and Jillian that we were sent in beforehand as well. I love this one for you, Ari. What is your favorite offering that you're focusing on at the moment? We'd love to hear your answer to that one.
That's tough because I'm always thinking about painting. I love painting murals and I think they're so diversifiable, but I right now I'm excited about package design. I just did a project for a friend. We did a label for these soil mixes that she's doing for a plant shop. And in the project, I just realized how little I'm diving into digital illustration for that kind of application. And that was one of the original offerings that I wanted to have way back in the day, was package design. And so I think it's a challenge for me to, like, it's a problem solving thing. I guess I just really like doing that. And so that's something that really excites me right now, is getting more into package design. But my answer is always going to be murals and painting. So that's a hard toss up for me, honestly.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I absolutely love that. This next one is for you, Jillian. So I love this one. How do you balance work and life as a freelancer? Right? This is so important, right? Yes, we're talking about work, we're talking about growing a business today, but like, how do we balance this with life? Right? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely very important. I would say, like for me, I think it was really about finding the rhythm of when I work best. And it took a lot of trial and error, but like I don't want a 9 to 5 for a reason. Like I don't want to start working at 9. So I'm more of like an afternoon worker. And so like finding the time where you're most efficient, and then also like giving yourself, permission to have a long, slow morning, and to like really work when you work best is really crucial. And also just like booking in self-care time for yourself, like maybe every Friday you're going to take off and do something, um, some extracurricular, like taking a walk or something, is really important. Like booking time for yourself that is sacred and that you're not going to work during that time is, yeah, very important.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I think, it's something we talk a lot about, within our coaching as well, is the self-care stuff, right? It's so important. Like if you're burned out, if you're overwhelmed, if you're anxious, your business is overwhelmed, burned out, and anxious as well, because you are your business, right? So we often talk about this idea of investing in your own self-care and wellness. Is that also actually investing in your business? Right? It's kind of a mind-blowing idea when you think about it. It's like spending some money on like a massage, or like going for a walk, or like getting out there and getting some fresh air. Like, oh, that's like a personal thing. That's like a life thing. You have like the business stuff separate. It's like this stuff is all connected, right? Like sometimes to grow the business, the next step is not send another cold email or do another post on Instagram. It's get out there and go for a walk for an hour to clear your head. Right? Or go and actually pick up a new practice, like getting some yoga or some breath work, right? It's not always going to be the business stuff to grow their business. It's so important. And, the truth is that everyone here, I'm sure, has pretty similar dreams and goals, right? The truth is that most people, certainly most people we work with, they want freedom, flexibility, work when they want, where they want to work from. They want to be their own boss. They want to have the creative outlet doing the work that they love. They want to work with people they enjoy working with. They want to earn proper money doing it as well, right? These are pretty universal things, right? People don't want to be burned out. They don't want to be exhausted. They want to have time for family. They also want to prove to themselves they can do amazing things. They want to reach their own potential, right? These things are often all connected, and that's part of that journey as well. One of the things I love about growing a business and helping people grow businesses is that building a business is a self-growth journey. Right? This is like the best personal and professional self-growth journey you can go on, is actually creating something for yourself. Is it terrifying? Is it hard at times? Yeah, but you grow through that, right? Really, really important. There's lots of good stuff here in the chat that I'm just going through as well. I did want to mention a couple of things here. Victoria mentioned in the chat, having stable income while you're creating your business helps with anxiety, right? It's true. Right? That's actually one of the reasons that, we do encourage people to build their business while they can. Is it easy to have a day job and build a business on the side? No, like there is these time limitations and your brain's going in different directions as well, right? But we love working with people at those stages because ultimately they've got some security and they make smart decisions along the way. The truth is, if you really have to immediately bring in income right away, you might cut corners. You might halve your prices. You might say, I'm willing to do that mural for $1,000, even though I really should charge $3,000. right? So part of it is also being smart about this. At the same time, we do work with people who don't have day jobs or in their business already. Of course, absolutely. We need to do it in a sustainable way. We need to find the balance. We need to also just get that revenue coming in as quick as possible, but it also needs to be sustainable long-term as well. So, so important. I love that. Another question we got here. What is the most successful offering? I mean, I think it's going to be personalized, right? Like every person, the most successful offering for you will depend on you, right? Depend on your skill set, your passion, your purpose, all of those things there. The things to really come back to and align with is that it has to be the thing that's at least $300, right? That's just what we see again and again and again, right? Is that the thing that's going to work the best for you is something that you're going to charge good amounts for, at least 300. If it can be 1,000, great. If it can be $3,000, fantastic, even better. Right? But that's the truth of it. We have clients that do all sorts of things within the visual creative space, right? Like one of my favorites right now that I'm seeing and really enjoying people getting into is murals. But we also have people that don't touch murals and they're not interested in that. And that's fine too. There's plenty of other areas of opportunity for them. We've got to make sure that, yes, passion and purpose and skills and those things are aligned, but we've got to align it with the opportunities out there in the marketplace. And the truth is, many of these areas we're talking about are growing right now. There's more and more opportunities, right? Murals in particular, absolutely. There's more and more mural opportunities out there. And is it a competitive space? Yeah, there's many competitive spaces here, but there's lots of opportunities as well. So this is so, so important. Awesome. I am going to start doing wrap up soon because we've also got to do the $100 giveaway. I don't think anyone forgot about that. So there we go. I'm going to pop in the chat as well again, the link to the book that call in. I see a bunch of people have booked in calls. We still have spots there as well, which is good. So definitely, if you haven't booked that call in, honestly, I would love every single person that's here to book in this call that we can fit into the calendars, because we really want to help you out during those calls, right? They're free calls. They'll share some tips, some ideas, some strategies. They'll ask about dreams and challenges and really help to point you in the right direction. And if you do want to learn more about how we help, you can mention that to them as well. And they'll be able to point you moving forward what that looks like too. One other thing I will say is that if you have booked in a call, please keep an eye out for an email from Celeste from my team. She's going to touch base with you. She just wants you to fill in a few short questions just so that Paul and Nadine can get you prepared, or that they can get prepared for the call as well, to really use that time really effectively and help you as much as possible in that time there as well. Awesome. Okay, so there we go. One quick other mention, I will say, don't book 2 calls. It gets really confusing. It's just 1 call per person, please, right? We have that occasionally. People get a bit confused and excited, but we want to just make sure we allow space for other people as well. Just looking at this here, I'm looking at my messages from Celeste. There we go. Charlie, you are the most engaged today. Well done. Fantastic, fantastic. There you go. I love it. You've got your video on there too. I can see you as well. Awesome. Can you just please send us through an email? You can go to our website, flammablentrepreneur.com, or our Instagram, DM. That's totally fine. Get in contact, send us a message, give us your email address, and we will make sure we send that across to you electronically as well. Well done. We just love the engagement and love that everyone was good sports about getting involved. And honestly, it just creates more engagement and fun along the way as well. What I would love to do now, I want every single person here to pop in the chat, what's a takeaway from today? What have you learned? What have you found interesting? Maybe what's been helpful? Whatever it is, pop that in the chat. We'd love to really, start to digest what people have learned, what you've heard. This will help other people digest things as well. If you're having any struggles getting that call booked in, you just may need to refresh the link to find a new time as well. There is still spots there. I've just double checked as well. Awesome. All right. So checking in the chat here. Take imperfect action. Yes, there we go. Love it, Charlie. Dana, no matter what industry, make sure people can find you. Yes, the big challenge in marketing many people struggle with. Charge at least $300. Nice. I love that. So, so good. Clara, charge at least $300 as well. There you go. At least. I love the brackets there as well. At least. It's an important thing that Paul, Nadine, and I always need to say to people. We're saying minimum. There we go. Be confident. Take more steps. Stop being fearful. Yeah. Focus on higher dollar offerings. Have confidence to bet on yourself. Oh, I love that one. That's a powerful one. Take imperfect action and clarity on offerings to your direct audience. Just do it. There we go. Charlie, watch out for those short-term jobs that have gravitational pull to them. Yep, cool. Get moving on sharp and get sharp on why, what I'm doing and why. Yeah, the why, Simon. I love that. So important. There's so much here in the chat. I'm struggling to say them all, but have a good read through as well. We are going to stick around for a couple of minutes. Myself, Nadine, and Paul stick around for a few minutes. We'll just be here in the chat as well. And just let us know in the chat if you're having any issues getting that call booked in. But we're going to wrap things up. Honestly, that was an hour. Didn't that fly by? Everyone's like, wow, where did that time go? Look at the time there. So I want to make sure people can get to taking some action. Look forward to hearing how all those calls go with my team as well. Keep an eye out for that email from Celeste. She'll get that through to you today, tomorrow, to make sure that's all confirmed and making sure that you've got everything sorted, got that questionnaire filled in before the call. Thank you, everyone. Ari, Jillian, I really appreciate you coming along. Jillian, this has been awesome, huh?
Yeah, so fun.
and Ari, absolutely lovely as well. Loved all the expertise you shared too.
Yeah, the chat was wild. I like wish I could have been like in there, but so many good questions and statements.
It's always hard for us to keep up with the chat as well. I know Nadine and Paul, you did a great job there too. Hey, thank you everyone. We're going to wrap things up there. I will pop that link in the chat one more time as well if you haven't managed to get that call booked in as well. Take care all. Have a lovely rest of your day. We'll catch up soon. Ciao. Awesome. If you're here watching the recording, then I have just recorded this piece here for you as well. Well done for watching all the way through. Absolutely awesome to have you learning, engaging, showing up for yourself as well. These freebie calls that we're offering at the moment are for you as well. They're only going to be open the next day or two, so do definitely book one in as soon as possible to make sure that you can get that booked in there. And honestly, yeah, we'd love you to use that to digest what you learned, dig into challenges, goals, all those good things as well. So definitely get that booked in. We'll include the link in the email that you sent where you found this link here as well. Awesome. Fantastic. Enjoy. We'll catch up soon. Ciao.